October when it's the mating season. It's called Google. It starts out as like a real low point, then it rises to a real high shrill whistle, and it goes back to the ground. When they're doing that, we can hear them clear over the visitor center.
Not bad.
Yeah. All of the water in the lake comes from the cave, 11 million gallons each day. The water flows across the lake. At the end of the lake, it goes over the dam, and it makes a stream there called Penns Creek. Penns Creek begins here, and the water flows southeast, zigzagging for 73 miles until it comes to a town called Selinsgrove. When Penns Creek gets to Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, it goes into the Susquehanna River, and the water goes down the river to the Chesapeake Bay. So the water that comes from Penns Cave, it starts here, and it goes the whole way to the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
There is, it flows down through the cave. That's part of the reason that I dragged the anchor, because when we would stop the boat, if I didn't have the anchor down, the current, the water would push the boat down through the cave. Now, just a few minutes ago, we were looking at the inside of the cave. What you see in front of you, that's the outside of the cave. That's the roof of the cave over there. Penns Cave goes under the farm building,
I know.
under the field, and under the trees in the distance. That's what the outside of the cave looks like. So just a few moments ago, we were inside the middle of that big green hill.
When I was in London, mallards were very exotic. I know there's signs up and everything, and I'm like, really? Okay.
The scientists tell us Penns Cave is located in the middle of Centre County, and they say that there's a lot of limestone in Centre County. The scientists tell us that this county, Centre County, actually has 150 caves in it. Wow. Now, most of those are small. They do not have big streams in them like this, but those caves are visited by the cavers, or spelunkers. To go into those caves, you need ropes to go down into some of the holes, lots of climbing and crawling over the rocks and between the rocks, and for some people, they love to do that. They love the adventure of it. It is one of the largest. Yes, other states, there are caves that are much, much bigger. There is a cave down in Kentucky. They are still exploring it. It's a part of Mammoth Cave, and as I understand it, they say they have mapped 400 miles of passage to Mammoth Cave, and they're still exploring. With that 400 miles of passage,
Look at the muskrat.
Oh yeah.
Just say, I know it.
with Mammoth Cave and the 400 miles, it is not 400 miles in a straight line. Not 400 miles in one line, but
You're supposed to say sitting down.
and they You know, they measure all of them. They're all connected, and there are passages over the top of other passages. The muskrats live here around the lake, and they eat plants.
You can turn this way if you want a picture of the muskrat.
It was my find.
Some of them are there.
Yeah. Caesar has a big tail. Muskrat has a long thing.
Above the cave, you can see the layers in limestone. The scientists call it sedimentary rock. The scientists say that there's layers of stone formed as layers of sediment at the bottom of the ocean long ago.
나게 연어는 고치서 꺼보네. 피기는 거야 아니고. Trees and
Going back into the cave, please make sure your fingers and your hands are inside the boat. Watch out for your hips. There is a rock on the right that sticks out. Somebody named that one. Someone named it. They call that rock the headache rock. Headache rock, right there. There are many of the flowstone formations throughout the cave. Along the right-hand wall, flowstone grew on top of a sandbar or a mud bank. When the water flooded the cave, the water came up and the water washed away the sandbar. So there's nothing holding it up. These weigh several tons, but they don't need anything to support them along the outer edge. That gives us some idea of their great strength. We do. If it is very cold outside in the winter, the ducks will come in the cave and sleep in here because the cave is warmer. They call these bacon strips or cave bacon. Cave bacon. Cave bacon is very good for you. Lots of calcium. Cave bacon. Yesterday I told the joke about the cave bacon, and a man on the boat said that it was a cave joke. I asked him what he meant, and he said that the joke left him in the dark. When the cave would flood, the water carried sticks and branches from the entrance. The floating branches hit the stalactites in the middle, and these are broken because of the flooding long ago. If we had time. If we could stay here for hours and study them with a magnifying lens, the broken ones, they have got rings inside of them, growth rings. Just like when you cut a tree and you count the rings in the tree. Scientists estimate the age of this stalactite. They believe it takes 300 to 500 years to grow 1 inch. The scientists say that one is 35,000 years old. The scientists estimate the age of the cave, the entire fact. Scientists say it's between 3 million to 5 million. Maybe someday. It takes a long time. This one looks like a lady with long hair threaded back over her shoulders. The Indian princess Nitini. Many stories, many legends about Princess Nitini. Around here, they've named a lot of places after her. There's a mountain called Mount Nitini, a valley called Nitini Valley, a small town called Nitini. As we go back through the Straits of Gibraltar, make sure your hands and fingers are inside the boat. And if you had to duck your head before, you will need to duck your head just once more.
Gasoline powered.
Our last view of the Garden of the Gods, beautiful stalactites, stalagmites and columns. It takes thousands of years to grow. Now, sometimes people get them mixed up, but there's an easy way to remember the difference. Just remember the stalactites, they hold tight to the ceiling. Stalactites hold on tight, and the stalagmites, they might reach the ceiling someday.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Marty.
And then we've also got the columns, but no one gets the columns mixed up because that's what you call them. Because of the high ceiling, they call this the cathedral roof.
Wow, Roman's fast.
Angel waiting on the wall. The ceiling, the wings of the dove. Statue of Liberty now looks like a Leaning Tower of Pisa. behind this column, there's another passage. A very thin sign is called into the hole to see where it goes. The passage goes up into the wall, and then it turns left, and it goes over top of the passage that we're traveling through. When you climb a mountain, you get to the top peak, you're pretty sure you've seen all of it. But when you explore a cave, you look at the walls and the ceiling, there could be another room or another passage just waiting for someone to discover it. Our last imagination formation. It looks like an elephant. There's the elephant's head, trunk, tusk, and front leg. Elephant stepping out of the wall. The elephant's been in the cave a long time. It has a bad cold. The elephant has a light grip on you.
Wow, I think it's
There's a hole in the ceiling up there just beyond the
Yeah.
elephant.
Holy crap.
Sometimes when you look up there, owl sitting in that hole in the ceiling. Sometimes, but not always.
Oh, pretty.
There it is. Little gray owl up there next to the limestone.
where? Oh.
Yeah.
Flash picture.